Hey, Maynard here with Free Range 6M. I want to talk a little bit about leadership, what leadership is, what it looks like, what it means to our freedom. And we may do a series of these, but we are going to do something a little new starting here pretty soon in 2024, which is we're going to have this Patriots group, and we're going to talk about the issues that we all have with how our freedoms are going to be affected. And I hope that along the way too, we talk about and better understand how leadership in our country, or lack of leadership in our country and our world for that matter, affects our freedoms. I read something here recently that pointed out that in times of poor leadership or lack of leadership, the world gets chaotic. And I would argue that has been happening for a while now. And some will say this is supposed to be happening, and this is part of the plan, and that we should just accept it and prepare for it. I tend to believe in that. I think along the way, though, the recognizing how important leadership is to us and our lives and to the next generations, and building leadership capacity everywhere. I think we've been focusing on some wrong things over the decades, and we've got a bunch of people in leadership roles that don't understand a thing about leadership. I don't pretend to be a great leader. What I do know is I've been a student of leadership for some time, and I seem to have some skills and talents in that area. Had a little bit of success, but I know what quality leadership looks like, and I know we don't have a lot of it out there. So how does that relate to our freedom? And hopefully I'll hit on these points. I've got some questions that have been handed to me, and hopefully this is helpful. I think we'll even invite young people into our speakeasy here in the short term and start helping young people develop leadership skills, so that our future generations don't have the problem that we've had for some time. Success will bring the demand for leadership in your company and your market, and that kind of thing. So as you begin your journey in entrepreneurship, whatever that may be, understanding that developing the right skills, soft skills, leadership skills, along with those technical skills that you'll develop through your business journey, you'll have, I would say, more success early. And even if the business venture fails, you would have developed leadership skills that will never go away. So that'd be my primary advice there. This last year has been the more challenging period of my entire career, maybe my life. And that's due to a lot of things. I've had a lot of change in my life, in both my career and my personal life. And so when you're in a leadership role, or you're an aspiring leader, and you're in those difficult times, one of the most important things to do is to continue to be you, be authentic, be genuine, let your team know, what you're experiencing. And if you got the right circle around you, they'll help you through it. And so don't be afraid to, share what's going on, and allow people to give you strength and give you energy and support you. That's probably the most important thing. I can tell you through good experience that there are leaders that are very visionary, and then there are leaders that are not as visionary, but know how to empower people, empower their team, and get the right people around them that can build a vision together. So you don't necessarily have to be a visionary. And even visionaries have a tough time applying what they know or executing. And so if you're a visionary, but maybe have trouble in execution, you definitely want to make sure you get the right people around you that complement your strengths and weaknesses and can help you execute. If you're one of those that aren't really a visionary, you don't feel you're a visionary, you might be more visionary than you think you are. But if you're unsure, then bringing your team together and making sure that you got the right team and helping to build that vision that's sort of shared by the group is probably the best way. It's probably the most bulletproof way to be successful, because when as much as you can empower people to be involved in steering the ship and establishing that vision and the various outcomes that you want to achieve, and then the strategies that support that, you can't go wrong with that. So those of you that have a trouble empowering others or listening to others, you'll fail. Simple as that. In my career, I've never been the leader. I've been one of the primary leaders, sort of in an executive team. And so probably my biggest challenge has been, since, for quite some time, I've been such a student of leadership and culture. It's been a little bit of a double-edged sword. I get easily frustrated with poor leadership or folks that just don't have any clue, and they're more of a manager style, where they're really only worried about the bottom line and making sure work and tasks get done. Leaders are more focused on outcomes and building an environment where people can excel in their jobs and their roles. And if they can do it 80% as good as you, then you get out of their way and you support them. In an environment where there's not a good understanding of leadership, it's been the double-edged sword part of it is it's been challenging to me personally, that how do I develop skills that increase my ability to influence others and get them thinking in the right way and developing plans and strategies that lead to those great outcomes. And so I get frustrated, but at the same time, it also challenges my ability to influence. And there's ways to build your influence. And if you're real good at it, which I don't pretend to be, but if you're real good at it, I've seen it. You lead people to conclusions, and they even think it's their own idea. So that's one of the bigger challenges I've experienced. Most crucial is authenticity. We all know when we see somebody who's faking it and aren't authentic, aren't genuine, and they may be successful for a short period of time, but ultimately they fail. And so I'd say authenticity is the most important thing. Also, if you're not a caring leader, if you're not have some level of empathy, balanced with focus and the ability to attract people that complement your strengths and weaknesses, and you build this team around you that is very strong, is adaptable, that can have discussions, open discussions about, what's the best way, what's not working, have disagreement and have constructive disagreement and not hate each other and leave the room with a shared plan. That's where it's at, and that's where it gets fun. In my business, one of the bigger challenges is an organization in my industry is very averse to change or risk, more importantly. And so when you're working within an organization like that, your ability to influence and provide leadership, and develop that culture where people are thinking and acting to get really high results, is paramount. And I got that little thing from a guest speaker I saw out in a conference in San Diego, and she characterized culture as how you think, how your team thinks, plus how they act to get results is raised to the power of culture. So the better your culture, the better people are thinking, acting, they get those results that is needed to be successful in whatever industry you're in. So I would say leadership and culture is always the right focus, and you give it extreme focus. You're very intentional about it. You're building leadership capacity at all levels, and that culture where people feel like they belong, that they can speak their mind without any consequences, that they generate ideas and those ideas are listened to and acted upon if the group feels like it's worthy, and people have fun, and you build camaraderie. I mean, going out after work and having a couple of drinks together and loosen up a little bit, talk about whatever is invaluable. So how all that relates to freedom is, I would argue that if we have a lot of people that understand good leadership, that can execute on leadership and provide it at so many levels, whether it's in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our cities, in our states and federal, the world, there's a better chance that we all can experience true freedom. Now that takes a high level of responsibility from each of us. True freedom requires a high level of personal responsibility. Civilizations in the past have traded freedom for security, and they failed. And they become socialist, communist, and they go through this battle of civil strife, and they're constantly, not experiencing the life that we were given. And so, Free Reign believes in freedom for all women and men. We were born with it. We showcase people and their freedoms and how they use their freedoms to enjoy their life. And so we're going to continue to talk about how quality leadership, effective leadership, builds that environment, whether it's in our companies, in our communities, in our country, that we all have freedoms that we were born with. And I would say that the more freedom we have, the more access to opportunity we have, the more likely we're going to live a happy life. And we ain't here very long, and we only get one shot at it. And if we let it slip away, we're going to end up like some civilizations, some countries that don't experience the freedom we have. Believe me, it's that fragile. We cannot continue to ignore it. So hopefully you get something out of this. I enjoy talking about this. I could talk for hours. And some of you that know me personally know that. And so we hope to continue to do this through more group sessions and help other people build leadership skills and capacity. And then we can all go out there and help others do the same. And I believe that will be an effective tool, not the tool, but an effective tool in helping our communities and our society and our country and the world fight off these power structures that only want to control us. And so we want to take them back. So appreciate you listening. Live your free reign. Thank you.
Alternative and alternative.
Well,